In 1764, the city of Bath was one of the centres of elegant social life for the upper classes of English society. It was a place of stately buildings, as it is today, a place for people who did not have to work very hard to make a living, or were so well off that they didn't have to work at all. There they went to take the waters, to have healing baths in the hot springs, and to enjoy themselves at the ball.
Writers from a past age are often seen as difficult and unapproachable. Their values seem to be different, their clothes and customs certainly are. In the famous author series of video biographies, the goal is to present the lives and backgrounds of the writers of the past, novelists, playwrights and poets, so that readers may connect with them more easily and hopefully come to realize that the differences are usually quite superficial.
People of the time described the town as down at heel and out at elbow, and even today it can hardly be described as sparkling. It lies back from the river on the west bank. Today a bridge crosses to the Illinois side. Ordinary would be the best word to describe Hannibal today, but it is that very quality which made it, in the middle of the 19th century, just the place for such a boy as Samuel Clemens to grow up in. The riverboats on the Mississippi were now a very important part of the developing economy. At sea, steam power had gradually combined with sail, but on the rivers and canals the steamboats with their great paddles were perfect for negotiating stretches of water that were comparatively calm, yet restricted in width.
Winter in a warm climate, but his book on the Spanish War was not selling, and they had little money. His friends came.
As an art form, the novel as we know it today is fairly recent, but it is particularly subtle in showing how people's minds work. Through the novel, we know the internal worlds of others in a way that we can't possibly encounter in ordinary life. Poetry operates in a different way, but is equally intimate, and perhaps on an even more personal level.
She began writing in her teens. She wrote, frugal Puritan that she was, on scraps of paper, recycled, you might say, in today's jargon. Will there really be a morning? Is there such a thing as day? Could I see it from the mountains if I were as tall as they? Has it feet like water lilies? Has it feathers like a bird? Is it brought from famous countries of which I have never heard? Oh, some scholar, oh, some sailor, oh, some wise man from the skies, please to tell a little pilgrim where the place called morning lies.
Lots of people write novels these days, but only a few strike chords on a universal scale and are likely to last into the future. So the number of really great novelists is quite small. Apart from English and American writers, our list includes such authors as Goethe and Voltaire, Kafka and Zola, as they have certainly crossed boundaries to become part of world culture.
He died in Oslo in 1906, aged 78. Norway had just triumphantly got its independence from Sweden. Now rich, it still has difficulty over the neighbourly business of joining the European Union. What would Ibsen, with his global view, make of that? But even today, half the rest of the world hasn't shuffled off the coils of belief and superstition.
If we start to compare the lives of these writers, we soon see that there is no fixed path which they all follow. Their backgrounds are hugely different as their works. But using words as they do, they are all exploring the human condition, illuminating our existence as few people we meet in our everyday lives can do. Knowing a little more about where they came from and the circumstances of their backgrounds might help us to connect with them more easily.
The strong, driving character the mother had, awake to all the influences of her time. She most certainly was a considerable force in her family. Dr. Hemingway, although a stern and serious man, did have a good relationship with his son, and it seems to have been founded on his considerable abilities in hunting and fishing. For the first 17 summers of Ernest's life, the family holidayed at Walloon Lake in northern Michigan.
In the famous author series, we make no concessions to any particular age level or situation. If you take on Dickens or Dickinson, Hemingway or Hugo, you take them as they come. We are in no doubt that the effort will be worthwhile. The biographies are followed by a summary of their works and suggestions on where to start. At the age of 13, she here presents herself with style and confidence, clasped in her hand one of the books she so avidly studied at an early age, and through which she mastered the languages and music and literature that were to be the splendid background to her unmatched statecraft. She succeeded to the throne when she was 25 years old and ruled over the gradual development of England from a backward state to a country playing a leading role in many fields of life. In exploration and science, in naval might and in trade, England under Queen Elizabeth developed an incredible vitality and self-confidence. And it was to her capital there came William Shakespeare, an obscure young man from the provinces with the imagination and subtlety and wit to bring all these forces together in his incomparable poetry and plays, in a fitting climax to the great Elizabethan age.